delicious it is, how good it is. It is suitable for a festive table, for New Year, for birthdays, and for many other occasions. Your friends will simply be amazed, astonished. Unique dish of Italian cuisine. Roasted meat. I will learn to salt salmon, then make a simple dish from this salmon. Stuffed chicken breast, my version, roll-ups, when it's delicious, Vitello Tonnato. This is veal vitello, and natto is tuna. The uniqueness of this dish lies in the fact that the meat is roasted, a sauce is made, and then everything is combined. It's incredibly delicious, believe me. And the most important thing is that this is one of the dishes that deserves a place on the festive table. Now we will make something like this, which your guests will definitely notice, and they will ask you, how did you do this? How did you manage it? This, definitely a success. A small amount of ingredients, primarily meat. It is preferable to take veal, of course. We must completely trim all the fat veins. That is, there should be no fat here, preferably at all. Here it is, the trimming. Next, butter. You can use olive oil if you want, or you can use vegetable butter. We add a little black pepper. We add salt. It's all the same here. Your oven should already be preheating. Roast until done, preferably to medium doneness. I set it to 210 degrees for 10 minutes. I will check the meat there and see. Let's start making sauce. We take tuna. It is best to use tuna in its own juice, not in oil. Next, capers and mayonnaise. The know-how is cream cheese. To slightly dilute it, I add milk. Without balsamic vinegar, it won't work in this case. Now I blend it all into a homogeneous mass. Look at the texture and consistency. You see it is airy, elastic, but at the same time quite thick, like 15% sour cream. So the meat is roasted. Do you want to fry it in a pan? No problem. You can fry it in a pan. No questions at all. Want to do it like a chef? Look at this meat. Ow. Wow. Wow. You have to try it right away. I love it. Our meat has cooled down. We need to let it cool completely because warm meat, under no circumstances, my friends, should be poured with this sauce. Next, we slice it as thinly as possible. And you see, pay attention to how juicy meat is, the pink meat. Next, everything is very simple. The meat is laid out in an even layer. The serving of Vitello Tonnato, well, probably as much as the serving, I don't know, shakshuka, whatever you want, will do it. Just like that. An elastic, airy sauce. The sauce should be moderate, but mostly it's called a lot. It's very beautiful when you don't understand what's under the sauce, but you know it's something interesting, but most importantly, tasty. That's why it's done like this. The sauce itself is not grainy. So elegantly and correctly done. No major decorations are needed, but usually caper buds are always used for decoration. Well, where would we be without it? Olive oil. This is a unique Italian dish. It is very suitable for a festive table. For New Year, Old New Year, Christmas, birthdays, and many, many other occasions, simply put, it is taken like this. 1, 2, like this. Every day, hundreds of thousands of people celebrate their birthdays. This holiday is special. It is eagerly awaited and celebrated widely and deliciously. And to treat colleagues, feed friends, and set the table for guests and loved ones, do you know where to stock up thoroughly? Of course, at the Metro. You can find everything for celebrations at the Metro, from dishes to desserts. By the way, I also congratulate my favorite store on its birthday. The Metro has turned 60 years old, and in honor of this, discounts of up to 60% until the end of October. Come to the Metro, take a cue from the chef. Here you will find everything for a delicious and vibrant celebration. Baked meat, just the trunk as we call it, from which steaks are cut. Quite beautiful, delicious meat. I found something like this. Can you imagine? Mozzarella cheese. Do you see how it was sold? It's like this. I think that's it. I need to prepare a dish. Baked tenderloin with sun-dried tomatoes with cheese on spinach. Turn on the frying pan right away. Before baking the meat, we will fry it. Salt the meat right away, just so I don't forget later. This is the whole story about how meat has open pores, and then when it's cooked, you need to sprinkle it, douse it with spices. Only then do the spices absorb better. What nonsense. A small amount of olive oil. The frying pan has heated up well, and we will place the meat in it accordingly. We'll fry it on all sides. The meat is seared. I'm teaching you how to do it right. This is half. There's still half left. So, each piece goes along this theme. Therefore, I take it here, cut it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hasty pieces. Now the meat, oops, we return it. We take it like this and put a sun-dried tomato in the pocket and we add cheese. We lay it out like this. Excellent. There is rosemary here. Put it right here. I didn't just take a spoon. This is tomato oil. Bright, tasty, simply amazing. We put it in the oven without covering it with foil for 12-15 minutes. Look at the beauty that has turned out. While the meat is resting here, I will prepare the base. Take garlic and crush it like this. I take frozen spinach, chop it, and off to the stove. As always, butter. By the way, this is one of the best combinations of meat, cheese, and spinach. I saute the crushed garlic. Most important thing is not to overcook the garlic, otherwise it will become bitter. Now it is opening up in the oil, and by the way, it can be eaten. I add the spinach, adding salt and pepper. And I turn it off. The most important thing is not to let it burn. Well, then comes the magnificent culinary creativity. Arrange everything beautifully. This dish can be everyday, festive, or banquet style. And now we do it like this. Believe me, all your friends will be simply amazed and astonished by the taste of this simple yet incredibly interesting dish. So delicious. How good this is. Look at the meat. Just a little bit of cheese like this. I will now learn to salt salmon, then make a light and simple dish from this salmon. So for the salmon course, salt. I always mix 1 to 3 with sugar. I mix it. The salmon needs to be completely filleted, but I always think it's best to leave it on the skin, because when you keep it on the skin, it will be easier to slice later. If you want lightly salted salmon, just like the cucumbers, 2 hours will be enough. If you want the fish to be more seriously salted, then of course you need to leave it until morning. That's about 8-12 hours. Tightly, don't be stingy, that's it. We put it in the refrigerator for 2 hours. 2 hours have passed. Slice the cucumbers, and now the fish. As you can see, some of the salt with sugar has absorbed into the fish. This is evident from the moisture. Next, everything is very simple. Turn on the cold water, and under cold water, we completely wash off all the salt, and we dry the fish. Now we start to serve. What is this? Notice that I took a filleting knife. You can never cut well and thinly with a large chef's knife. We arrange the fish like this in a circle. And now we take the lightly salted cucumbers. And like this, we quickly lay them out in a fan. Next, we place the fish in the inner part. Do everything carefully because this is still a matter of beauty for people. And next, I will show you a Soviet method of how crowns were made from everything during Soviet times. The fish was laid out like this, the cucumbers were also placed, and then, accordingly, the collective image, which is the process. Oops, and the little ones, do you see? Like this, we put them in the center, we smash. But that's not all. Take the regular mustard. Here it is. Now I add a small amount of olive oil. We mixed it. Well, and you can accordingly have such a story. These are also caper buds, which are very nice, preferably with lemon, a little lemon. Take a bit like this, a small amount of pepper. Fairy tale. Boiled chicken breast stuffed with crab meat in a basil cheese sauce. In this case, I didn't take crab meat, I took crab claw. There is neither this nor that, no questions. You can take shrimp. Will be chicken breast under mandarin sauce. I have two types of mandarins here. First, these are Chinese brothers. They perfectly fillet the mandarin. Well, of course, His Majesty Mandarinus for the sauce. We will make the sauce like this. Squeeze the juice from the fresh mandarin, boil it, add a small amount of salt, slightly thicken it with butter, and of course, we will add the segments later. We'll set the mandarin juice aside for now. The stove is not turned on yet. Next, we have cream cheese here. I should mention that the uniqueness of this dish also lies in the fact that if you completely chill this roll, you will get an amazing sausage with crab or shrimp. Now, you need to pound the chicken breast. It needs to be opened first with a knife. We remove the small fillet, slightly trim it like this, flip it over, and trim it here as well. Next, we take plastic wrap. Now we carefully, slowly, and gently beat it. Gently beat the fillet just like this so that it will be very easy. Roll it up later. I transferred it, adding salt to make it look nice. You lay out fresh basil leaves. As for the filling, just to be clear, you don't need too much. Everything should be in moderation. Let's start rolling. We placed it like this at first, and now we press down, allowing the air to escape from there. Oops, and the little ones. We take it and continue rolling. There. Now we place it in a pot, pour in water, and set it to boil. We cook until ready. At a medium boil, I think 10 minutes will be enough. While the chicken is boiling, Aida is preparing the sauce. Here is mandarin juice, and here are canned mandarin segments, salt, and of course butter. We need to balance this whole thing with salt. The sauce will boil for 5 minutes. It will simmer for literally 30 seconds. We'll start adding the butter. The juice has come to a boil. We start adding the butter. Now we need to wait until it begins to boil slightly. This process is starting to happen. Now everything will start to come together here. I'm adding the mandarins. They need to warm up a bit. That's it. The sauce is ready. We wait for the chicken breast. Let's take some green structure. Oh, how beautiful it is. The chicken breast is ready. Carefully. We slice it. If you let it cool completely, you can use it like sausage as a cold appetizer. And now, look at this beauty. But that's not all. Our mandarin sauce. So let's simply take it and garnish with mandarin segments. And then just lightly drizzle this excellent, very tasty, bright sauce over the meat, over the filet. Where is my big fork and spoon? I will now show you my version of rolls with cheese cream, sun-dried tomatoes, and sautéed eggplants. The filling can be slightly spicy because you can add a couple of drops of hot sauce to it. And spices, salt, pepper, and coriander. First, we will make the cream. We put the sun-dried tomatoes here and immediately add fresh green basil. Any cottage cheese will do. You can use curd. Wouldn't recommend cream cheese, though. You can use feta. Everything is placed here. And I will add a drop of fire right away. We close it and go. Great. We have a very interesting elastic mass. Very tasty. Now we need to slice the eggplants and fry them. Don't cut them too thin. Measure about 3 millimeters by eye. Let's go. The eggplants are ready. Just a small amount of ground coriander, or a pinch of salt. Well, of course, where would we be without pepper? That's it. Everything is sprinkled. You can use olive oil. If you want, you can use vegetable oil. The prepared eggplants. We place the onion in the pan and just fry it until done. You see, I'm not adding more oil. Kind of absorb the oil from the start, and then it starts to release it. Try to do the same. Don't rush anywhere. I believe that if the eggplants are not fully fried but just browned, they become like soap. I really don't like that. So it's best to fry them very well. Well, of course, not to a gypsy ring. Hello? No need. First of all, pay attention. Regardless of what I put on the napkin, I still add moderate amount of oil.
I finished frying the eggplants and placed them. To avoid hurting my hands, I need to wait a little for the eggplants to cool down slightly. The eggplant is ready. While we were frying the eggplant, the cheese was cooling. Now the top ones are slightly hot, and I want to get to the bottom ones that have already cooled. We take, there we go, little rolls, and place them here like this. We're not in a hurry, so we try to do everything beautifully and, most importantly, deliciously and neatly. We are cooking for ourselves or for our loved ones. Try to make the rolls all roughly the same size. My friends, in 15, maybe 20 minutes, we got a completely stunning result. There are no words, just emotions. When it's delicious, then it's delicious.